Yeah, Porter, what's the confidence level like for this team after pulling out such a tough win in a true road environment like Saturday?
I think the guys understood that it was a great win, and they understood that there's reasons why you win, and we surely made mistakes, but we had fewer of them, and we were better in the last 4 minutes in terms of shot selection, decision making, and but I thought for the most part we guarded really well for the course of a game against a veteran team, an old veteran team at home that had been playing together and with 98% of their scoring back. So they felt good. And then the other thing I like is that they understood that, they had a day off Sunday, and we came back yesterday, and it's put that in the bank, and now all the focus is on Florida. You learn from it, whether you win or lose, you move on, and you start chasing the next one. And I thought we had a chase to us yesterday instead of just sitting back feeling great that we won, which I liked how they handled that.
And then with it being Lon Kruger Appreciation Night tomorrow, what was your relationship with Lon before April, and how has it changed in the months since?
I've known, I got to know Lon, obviously you know about him in the profession. And then his, coaches versus cancer golf outings. I took some of my college teammates from Creighton. We've been getting a group for the past few years and going out to Vegas and playing in that. And just, he's amazing with that. And, but you just get to know him, and he's just such a good person, first and foremost, outstanding Hall of Fame coach. So I think it's apropos that it's the Florida game, a place where he coached both places at a high level. And so he's, getting the job. I talked to him before, and then obviously many times after. He's been to practice, and just someone who you cannot imagine a coach's transition with the former head coach being as gracious as Lon Kruger's been to me.
Appreciate it, Porter.
Next question for Colton Sully.
Hey, Porter. I want to talk about Florida a little bit. What matchup problems does Castleton create with his length and scoring ability? And then how do you evaluate your guys' inside play so far this season?
The first part of the question with Castleton, he is a problem. He's 6'11", and he's mobile, and he's strong. So defensively he poses matchups because, he can move, and he's big, and he can be good in ball screen coverages. Sometimes you get a 6'11" guy like, well, maybe he's not moving that well. We can kind of get him in a lot of ball screens. He's good in that, and he's tough, physical on the block. He really is tough down the block, and he can hit the 17-footer. So a lot of problems, a lot of things we got to be aware of, because I think he's, his numbers show it. And the second part of your question was what?
How have you evaluated your guys' inside play?
Yeah, our inside play, getting better. I thought Tanner and Ethan had their best game defensively last game. The two of them defensively were loud, they're vocal, they moved, they did a multiples of 3 or 4 things each possession. By far, our best defensive game with our 2 5s. Offensively, they're both kind of skilled 5s, and I thought last game they both had double figures. I mean, you get 2 guys, your backup, 5 coming in, and both of them had double figures. And I thought they gave us both had outstanding games at Central Florida.
Jesse with the next question.
Hey, Porter, I appreciate your time today. Just want to ask you just about your guys' shooting so far this year. You guys are shooting above 50%. I think it's top 20 in the country. But I want to ask specifically about shot selection and how big of a role that's played in your field goal percentage. Do you like, where the shots have coming from, where they're coming from, the types of shots that you guys are taking? Just how big of a role has that played in that?
I think it's a work in progress. If you look at our field goal percentage, you can do your research and look at it like the last 5 years at Loyola. It's been in the same kind of category up there, and it's about, building a culture where they don't care. They pass up a decent one for a better one, and then it's about spacing, ball movement, 0.5. There's a lot of little things that go into having an efficient offense. I want our guys to feel confident and free to step in and shoot the shot. We've really utilized the three. We've taken a lot of threes. And then we've also learned time and score. The Utah State game, there's the shots. Sometimes there's a three-pointer in the last 3 minutes early in the shot clock that's not the same shot that it is 10 minutes in the game. And we learned that from Utah State. But, guys like Mo Gibson, I want them to step in with confidence every time they're open and shoot it. But we also are getting better at, spacing it, moving it, maybe pass it one with a guy flying out. We call him one more, and getting some of those. And, I do think it's shot selection and being high efficient. There's a lot of things that go into it. And I just think we're a work in progress, getting better.
Appreciate it, Porter.
Yeah.
We'll go with Eric Bailey with the next question.
Hey, Porter, just want to ask you, during this stretch, you only have one game in a 10-day stretch. How good is that, just to get some practice time and kind of look back at your 6-7 games you played and focus on that?
It's always beneficial. Guys are sore. That Houston Baptist game was 4 games in, I think, 7 days. And with the travel, then you traveled again to Florida. So just to get some recovery with your bodies and your minds, and catch back up academically, and do all those things you need to do as you head into December and finals and all that. So, but then the practice time. I mean, the guys will tell you, I love practice. I mean, it's all about getting better, and I can't have enough of it. And especially this first year with so many new guys. So it's huge to have some practice. But we did give them Sunday off. So I guess I didn't even think about it as one game in 10 days. I was just thinking, hey, we got back from Central Florida. We had 1 day off, then 2 days to prepare for Florida. So I haven't even been thinking about that. But we are going to have a little, 4 or 5 days, I guess it is, before Butler.
I want to switch gears on you. Of course, you understand we're all covering the Oklahoma football search. When you were hired, how much respect do you have with the way Joe handled the process with your hiring? Interview process and everything.
He's different. It's what he does and how he does it. For me, it was just about I just got to feel, and with him, and he just makes you feel comfortable, and like what he's really good at sharing his vision for the way he wants the culture here. And he's genuine about it. You don't think he's a salesman. You just think he's a really smart, really good leader. That's what I felt. I felt he was a very smart, caring leader, and he was very confidential and private about it. So I'm not going to be surprised if what we read is what is actually happening, because he was very, very confidential about it.
And that leads to my last question. He used the word stealthy yesterday in his press conference. It's probably a good word. How secretive was he with you? I mean, he talked a little bit about meeting you and everything like that, but how did he go beyond just to make sure no one knew he was talking to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was stealthy is a good word, because I couldn't come here. He wouldn't let me come here because he wanted to stay so far under the radar, and he felt that if I was here, the cat would get out of the bag. And so it was all, sight unseen, and just getting, with the feeling with him. So that was, and for me, I wasn't talking to anybody during the NCAA tournament. I mean, we were in that bubble for going to the Sweet 16 for 15 days. And as we've talked about before, there was many jobs open at that time, and I was getting hit from all ends, and I just wouldn't talk to anybody. And then when we finally lost, then it happened rapidly.
Porter, thanks so much. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank
okay?
you.
Josh Calloway with the next question.
Yeah, Porter, I listened to the end of the game on the radio on the way up to Stillwater on Saturday, and you were on the radio with Chad McKee, and you said that UCF, that was a quad 1 win. And I thought that was really interesting, because I don't feel like you always hear coaches talk about tournament resume in November. So I was just kind of curious, is that something that you're thinking about from the beginning of the season, like stacking your tournament resume for down the road? Is that something you communicate to the team? Obviously Florida's a big game because it's a top 15 team, but that it's really important for resume down the road, these type of games early in the season.
It's fun to talk about when you win it, with the quad 1. But, for us, we got to get better. I mean, you'll hear me, I'm so process oriented about the process getting better. But the fact of the matter, the way the net ratings are and the quad 1, 2, 3, 4, our game's different now. A quad, those resume builders are the same beginning of the year as the end of the year. It goes on there. So I do think Central Florida is a high quality team. They're old, they're veteran. They're going to continue to do well. So, it's not something I talk about a lot. We won. I talked about it. You put it in the bank, and then we're back to our process of we got to get better. If you lose one of those games this year, it's not going to make or break you. You got to be thinking getting better. And that's the thing, especially being at Oklahoma, than my previous stop is we're going to have many opportunities for resume builders with our schedule. I mean, look at that game and look at our next several right now. Look at our SEC challenge at Auburn. Look at our 18 Big 12 games. It's our schedule's packed with games that can build your resume. But it was something that we had a lot of respect for Central Florida. I said on the radio, and I think the guys realize it. I think guys understand it more nowadays too. That really good wins are resume builders.
Appreciate it, Porter.
Yeah.
We're going to have time. One more question for Coach. We're going to go to John Shin.
Yeah, Coach, piggybacking off of what Josh just asked you, how much were you involved in the schedule this year? I know it was, basketball's a lot different than football. You can put things together on 8 or 9 months' notice. But as you go into the future, how do you want to build a schedule with OU going forward?
Well, the schedule was done, so I didn't have anything to do with the schedule. But I like high-level MTEs. I like, we got the SEC challenge. That gives you an opportunity. We got 18 games. So you want really good, you want to be tested in your non-conference. Do you want to get tested 7 times in your non-conference when you got the Big 12? I don't know. I think I'd be smart about that. But you definitely want to have some really good tests and games in your non-conference. A lot of people text me and everything's like, what are you going to Central Florida for? And it was done, and now in hindsight, it's going to be a great road win because a lot of people don't go on the road on games like that. And they're either neutral or they don't, do it. So I thought it was, after you got the win, it was a great win for us. But building forward, I like MTEs. We have really good challenges built in. We got 18 conference games built in. We've got some games like Arkansas is going to be a long-term deal. There's some other games that are going to be announced. The Jordan Brand games were announced. So we've got some built in. I mean, think about that. You got the Jordan Brand games, the Big East Challenge, the SEC Challenge. You got the Arkansas game. That's 4 right there, plus an MTE. So our schedule moving forward, the non-conference is loaded, built in several years coming up.